This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.
Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shoutouts so we can celebrate together. The shoutout submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shoutouts so we can celebrate together. The shoutout submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shoutouts so we can celebrate together. The shoutout submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shoutouts so we can celebrate together. The shoutout submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5.
This is DX Central Live.
In the night, so dark and quiet, frequencies hum low like a riot. Tuning in with all my might, searching for a voice in flight. Cajun air, it holds the sound, radio waves from town to town. Static crackles, mix and turn, waiting for that name to learn. Signal fades, the name's unknown, trying to catch it all alone. Mystery calls, the night my friend, searching till the very end. Moonlight dances on the dial, rumbling with that Delta style. Notes float softly in the wind, still I wait for news to send. Signal fades, the name's unknown, trying to catch it all alone. Mystery calls, the night my friend, searching till the very end. Bayou whispers keep me still, craving for that lingering thrill. Misted voices lost in haze, echoes in this southern maze.
This is DX Central Live.
He's got his antenna way up in the air, dreams of Latin music out there somewhere. Cards in his hand, maps on the wall, late nights waiting, but he gets no call. All those radio waves, they play with his mind, searching for signals, but they're so hard to find. From Puerto Rico to faraway land, tune in the static, still no guitar in hand. He's there in the darkness, waiting for a sign, humming to the silence with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through, just another night, feeling deja vu. All those radio From Puerto Rico, he's searching afar, dreams of a broadcast beneath the bright star. And in his small room, by the glow of the moon, he waits for a melody, morning or noon. Signals may fail, but his hope never fades. Seeking the music his spirit demands. Another dawn breaks, he's still at the dial. With every sunrise, he promises a smile. From Puerto Rico to faraway land, tune in the static, still no guitar in hand. He's there in the darkness, waiting for a sign, humming to the silence with a hopeful eye. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. Oh, those radio waves, they tease and they taunt, with promises of rhythms, with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. And in his small room, by the glow of the moon, he waits for a melody, morning or noon. Signals may fail, but his hope never fades. Seeking the music his spirit demands. Another dawn breaks, he's still at the dial. With every sunrise, he promises a smile. Someday the frequencies will carry his tune. Till then, he dances to the rhythmless boom.
This is DX Central Live.
I got my radio on, just trying to get on it. But my baby says no way, so I'm stuck in this chair. I dream of signals far from north to east to west, but I can't put up no antenna. She says it's for the best. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears. That static calls my name, whispering in my mind. But without that big old tower, the signals I can't find. I see the towers rise in a distant starry sky, but here I'm bound in time, can't even say goodbye. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by
For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for US and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
It's a Friday night, Lloyd in the North Shore, setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals can't hide. Tuning in the static, chasing down the sounds. Every single signal is magic we have found. All radios hum, the chatters all agree. DX Central Live is the place to be. Folks in the chat, shout out your call. From east to west, we're breaking down the walls. It's the magic of the night, where frequencies fly. Join us now on DX Central Live.
From the Gulf South
to your corner of the world,
this is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Beautiful, chilly Mandeville, Louisiana. I dare even say chilly. I see you guys talking about snow and everything else. And we were talking about chilly when it's like 50 something. It's gonna get down to the 30s tonight. Shut up. We are here in Studio A in North Shore Studios after an eventful week of DX. Hopefully it's been an eventful week for you guys. And we inch closer to our big season goal of 1,000 logs on AM here in Mandeville. We've been working on that for about 3 years, so inching closer. We'll talk about that. We've got some new gear that we started working off of this week, and that led to some really good stuff. We'll talk about that. Of course, we got your shout-outs to get to. Got quite a few actually shout outs in here, and some of them I'm very happy about this actually. So you guys know we have the Slack channel, the Medium Wave DX Slack channel, where we trade tips and tricks, and we talk about what we're hearing on the air, where somebody's off air, open carrier, and things like that. We also talk about antennas a lot and gear and stuff like that, and we've been talking a lot about like certain antennas like the bogs, the beverage on ground antennas, common mode chokes, things like that. So everybody's been kind of back and forth, kind of comparing notes, and let's try this, let me try this, I'm gonna go try this. It's been really cool to see, because not only has everyone been experimenting and trying stuff out, but there's been some really good results that have been found as well. We'll be talking about that a bit later on as we get into the shout outs, because you guys are hearing some amazing stuff with the new gear and the new antennas and the new stuff you're trying out. It's giving you results, and that at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, getting more stuff in the log. And so we're always trying to improve our setup. We're always trying to improve our situation and our options for DX. And so you guys have really been taking that to heart especially the last several weeks, and it's producing results. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to be talking a bit about some new gear coming out. That's actually now. It's out now from RSP, SDR Play rather, the RSP network device. That's out now. And there's also a sale going on right now for Airspy. It's their annual Black Friday sale. So that's going on right now. So we'll take a quick peek at that and see when that's supposed to end. I think it's tomorrow. You're probably going to want to get in on that. Let's make sure that it's not already over, because I know it's usually like just a small amount of time that Yusef and the Airspy crew puts their stuff out there for the Black Friday sale. Yeah, you can get an Airspy HF Plus Discovery right now for $126. Dudettes. An Airspy HF Plus Discovery for $126.75. I'm gonna have to go get me an extra one of those, because that's a really, really good deal, and you can never have too many of those around for portable DX or just as a backup or as an auto logger for FM, whatever it might be. That's a really good deal. $126.75 gets you one of those, and it's 36% off right now for Black Friday. They're not sponsoring this stream. I would love for them to. Ask them to. Love for them to do that, but they're not sponsoring the stream. I'm just a firm believer in the Airspies. Of course, we're all waiting bated breath and patiently for the Ranger, the new SDR they're going to be coming out with here soon. Hopefully, if they can get all the manufacturing stuff sorted out, they can get that out there pretty soon. But until then, even with the Ranger on the market, you still can't beat an HF Plus Discovery for $126.75. My goodness, that is legit. All right, so we've got some folks in the chat doing some convo right now. Love to see you guys in there, so make sure you get your shout outs in as well. dxchallenges.com/shoutout. Want to make sure we have a chance for us to celebrate together, high five each other virtually here across the divide of cyberspace, as it were. And we're going to go ahead now. I'm going to start us off here for our first DX session. We're going to do a lot of DX tonight. Because I don't have a lot of like pre-canned topics to talk about. We have a couple things we kind of talked about last week. We're going to kind of finish up this week. But really it's going to be a lot of DX time. And we're finishing up on our medium wave frequency challenge frequencies, 1270 to 1290. Surprisingly, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty dang good this week for me on those frequencies. After the last couple years, whenever we would try it in years past, it was okay, it's decent, it's all right. And when I would go look there on my own, it was all right. But this week, it's been crushing it. So this first DX session brought to you by National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org. That's where you go for more information about becoming a member of the NRC today. And we'll start off here on the Perseus, I guess. We're at 15 degrees on our SuperLoop here. So 22 by 72 SuperLoop at 15 degrees. And this sucker has been producing this week. It's been doing a really good job. I don't know what's been different about this antenna the last week or two, actually. But it's been kind of kicking butt, and we'll talk about some of the results that I saw on that this week. Excuse me, a little bit later on in the show. We're also going to demonstrate for you some of the results that I'm seeing on our 111, 112-foot beverage on ground bog antenna. It's at about 125. Right now, it's moderately terminated. Basically, it's unterminated. So we're getting kind of a bidirectional thing with it right now. But what we did get this week off of that, excuse me, was pretty cool. So we'll demonstrate for you that here, but later on what the signal levels look like compared to some of the other antennas and things like that. But for right now, let's start off here on the Perseus and the SuperLoop and see what we got going on 1270. We'll start there. Oh man, you guys, WJTO, a lot of folks been hearing Maine this week on 750 kilohertz WJTO in Bath, Maine, and I've been looking on my north antenna and not hearing a thing. So guess what Lloyd's going to be doing this weekend? Lloyd's putting up a northeast antenna back up in the air at 35 degrees. We'll talk about that here in a bit as well. There's KFLC in Dallas making their nightly appearance here with Deportes. So let's check 1280. Note we do have a local here on 1280 WODT here in New Orleans. We have them nulled right now off the back side of our SuperLoop, our 22 by 72 SuperLoop. We have them nulled out completely with our vactrol. So, or mostly, at the very least, they might be in there just very, very weak. That's been producing some good results for us this week. I think that might be them in there right now. That brings us to 1290. We've got some Christmas music coming in. Not sure who this is. On 1290, we did have earlier this week on 1280, we had to be HVR up in Pennsylvania carrying some Christmas music. I heard them this week. Be interested to see who this is here. The HKY, perhaps? More than likely. You know how that goes. We've also got the Kiwi up and running tonight, and we've got 3 antennas on the Kiwi. We'll talk about that here in a second, including this 15-degree SuperLoop that we're listening to right now. In fact, let's go ahead and swap over to that really quick. And let's go back to 1290. Okay, they're still there. I don't know if anybody is hearing these guys where you are with the Christmas music, and if that is WHKY. If it's not, we might want to stick around for a bit and figure out who that is. If it's WHKY, then we'll just move along. 1280 on the Kiwi. Talked about the common mode chokes last week. Here's 2 new ones made this week. The nice big donuts. This is the TDK N30 toroid with 45 winds. Then we've got the FT240 with 31. So I'm just waiting on some crimp-on SO239 connectors to come in from Max Gain Systems. Once those come in, we'll be putting those on the coax there, and then putting those into a series here in the shack and seeing if we can lower that noise floor a bit. There's a BIN there. It's local New Orleans. They've been kind of hard to null out in the last couple of days. Hey, Mamacita. Oh, yeah, Mike. Mexico Mike says that might be KIVY doing the Christmas music. Very, very likely. Trying to dial in just a tiny bit of vactrol here to see if we can get rid of WODT some more. Hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Got to spend some time with family, friends, or at least, at the very least, with some friends on the dial. We had a nice family evening, afternoon yesterday here at the house. I think that's the Trans-Siberian Orchestra version. That's why I say Christmas music. Yeah, it sounded like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra version of that song. Of course, now they're not playing it. This is on the West SuperLoop. Go back north.
DX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
It's top of the hour alert time. So let's go ahead and sit on 1290 here on the North SuperLoop. Let's go up to the bog real quick. We're recording on the North SuperLoop. Pointing southeast 125 degrees.
Thanks for enjoying the holidays with us. You're listening to KIVY 92.7 FM, 1290 AM, 102.1 FM. Mexico, fighting against the relationships that those countries are in a good place right now. The president has been most expectantly with President-elect again at some point now in January 20th when there is a transfer of power. Now see the president announcing to keep it a very low profile while that's
That during a raid in Los Angeles, officials say the guitarist and a dead authentic would be worth $18 million. Also at srnnews.com, as winter approaches, Ukraine's military facing a desertion crisis within the ranks.
Soldiers, lawyers, and Ukrainian officials tell the AP that tens of thousands of tired and bereft Ukrainian troops have walked away from combat and frontline positions. According to military commanders and soldiers, entire units have abandoned their posts, leaving defensive lines vulnerable and accelerating territorial losses. Some take medical leave and never return. Others clash with commanders and refuse to carry out orders, sometimes during firefights. The war has largely been going Russia's way, and the desertion could put Kiev at a clear disadvantage in future ceasefire talks. I'm Karen Shanna.
Investigation continues after a Russian national who did not have a ticket boarded a Paris-bound Delta flight in New York and was arrested when the plane touched down. This is SRN News.
Important than our annual Christmas pageant. To us this year.
The Herbans are absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world. This is going to be a real disaster.
From the creators of Jesus Revolution and directed by Dallas Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen, comes the best Christmas pageant ever. A hilarious, feel-good Christmas classic in the making. Now that's a pageant I'd actually like to see. The best Christmas pageant ever. Now play. Rated PG. Parental guidance exists.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. Not only is it open enrollment for a lot of people, it's when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. MediShare is the highest rated healthcare sharing ministry, and members save up to 50% or more on their monthly healthcare costs. Here's why now, too. If you join before November 30th and use the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee and save even more. Call now at 833-34-BIBLE.
Hello, Haley.
833-34-BIBLE.
A French TV station has been fined by the government.
C News is an independent public access channel, and it recently aired an opinion piece that stated that abortion is the leading cause of death around the world. France's Audiovisual and Digital Communications Regulatory Authority has fined C News €100,000, stating that, quote, abortion cannot be presented as a cause of death. In fact, there are 73 million abortions globally each year, a number which far outpaces the death toll for any other disease. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
Ohio's Attorney General will appeal a ruling that struck down the most far-reaching of the state's new pro-life laws. A county judge in Ohio determined in October last year's voter-approved amendment enshrining abortion makes the state's heartbeat law unconstitutional. Law banning most abortions once an unborn baby's heartbeat can be detected and been paused during the challenge. This is SRN News. Lawmakers in Britain have given initial approval to a bill that would help terminally ill...
The longest SRN newscast I've ever heard.
The so-called
I'm playing, it's not.
bill was approved Friday by a vote of 330 to 275 after an impassioned parliamentary
It's been a
debate.
tough year as a Saints fan, too.
The law will provide dignity to the dying.
Hopefully we're on the come up, though.
Conservative lawmaker Danny Kruger says the bill can be used for all of the wrong reasons.
That debate will not be a burst of despair, but a start of a proper debate about dying well, in which we have a better idea than state suicide service, in which we remember that we have an infrastructure, a real choice from autonomy, means having access to the best care possible and the fullest control over what happens to you while we live. That true dignity consists in being cared for to the end.
And you'll find more details at srnnews.com.
Tonight, partly cloudy skies and 33.
WKIVY.
Saturday, mostly sunny, 63 for the high. Saturday night, partly cloudy, mid-30s for lows. Sunday, mostly sunny skies, low as well, lower 60s for high temperatures, then 35 down to the low, under partly cloudy skies, lower Sunday night.
Huntsville. Could this be WBTG in Sheffield? Unless there's a Huntsville, Texas, that I'm not aware of. And guess what, guys? My keyboard just died. It just died. I gotta charge it. I gotta find another keyboard to use temporarily. Alrighty, let's do this while we go do that keyboard swap out right quick. We'll also probably go back in here and check and see what we caught at the top of the hour here on the Perseus. That might help a little bit. But we're going to swap out our keyboard here. We're going to take a quick ad break. And when we come back, we're going to do some shout-outs. We're going to do some more DX. We're going to talk about some of the antenna work that I've been doing and others have been doing in the last week or so. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live sitting your way right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Are you ready for some DX? I said, are you ready for some DX? Well, I'm ready for some DX. Let's see what Lloyd has in store for us. Here we go. In the glow of the screen, it's a Friday night. Lloyd's on the North Shore, setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals abide. Radio's on, the channels all agree. On DX Central Live, it's the place to be.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Studio A. Big, beautiful Studio A. Studio A. Got Studio B back there kicking it in the back of the other side of the house, holding down the fort on the FM side. We'll take a look at some of the stuff over there a little later on. Looking to see if we got anything on the AM or the FM side going on, or if we got anything, maybe weather DX. Right now we're talking AM. Talking AM DX. And we're talking about some of the different antennas that we've been trying out. So you guys know, typically here at DX Central, I started out, well, let me back up even further. In 2020, before I started doing my terminated delta loops, or terminated loops in general, I was W6 LVP guy, right? And had the W6 LVP loop up in the air, and I was just pouring in DX. That's the same antenna when I first moved here to Mandeville. Before I could get my KAZs up in the air, I spent a week just getting to know the band with that one loop antenna up in the air and logged 300 stations in a week, right? And so, yeah, just starting out there and then evolving as kind of time went along and started using KAZs. Had a northeast southwest and northwest southeast, about 22 by 70 or so. Flirted with a DKAZ at one point, had 120-foot DKAZ in that northwest southeast configuration. Had various reasons why that wasn't going to last and work, but unfortunately, would love to have kept that one up because it worked really, really well. But I just wanted to try it out at least. And then as time has gone along, various influences have caused me to have to adjust my antennas from KAZs, which are, off the ground a bit, to SuperLoops, which are, you can put them right down on the ground. The bottom wire can be right on the ground and even buried underneath it a little bit. So that's kind of what I've been gravitating towards, is these SuperLoop antennas, because A, they're super convenient for me. And if I need to put something in the front yard, which I do, that's all I can do. I have to have something on the ground or buried. Otherwise, I can't do it because of insurance, things like that for my landlord and that kind of stuff. So, so we've kind of been transitioning slowly but surely here to all SuperLoops. I did want to try, because I had a big northwest southeast SuperLoop. It was like 20 feet high, 97 feet long. It was massive. And it was so great, but it was not destined to survive long, because one of the trees on the end that I used to support it was cut down. So I had to figure something else out. Again, I couldn't put a KAZ there because of insurance stuff. I couldn't put another SuperLoop there because there was no longer a support in that 97-foot length. And I didn't want to just have a random 20-foot mast kind of just sticking up in the front yard between my driveway and my neighbor's driveway. It was just kind of awkward. So I've been kind of leaving it kind of there, and I put up a little temporary 12 by 48 KAZ and was kind of playing around with that for a bit, and it was decent. But I was still looking for like that one like killer diller antenna. So we've been talking a lot in the Slack channel recently about the bog antenna, right? You guys have been talking about the bog, beverage on the ground. So that's going to be what we're going to talk about here next, is the beverage on the ground antenna, the bog, and what we've been doing with it here at DX Central.
From the slack, it came from the slack, it came from the slack. That's where you'll find each other. It came from the slot, the X is sharing tips now. It came from the slot, and their audio clips, yeah. It came from the slot. What they talking about, Lloyd?
All right. What are we talking about? We're talking about bogs, beverages on the ground. You guys are talking about them right now in the chat, actually. So let's talk about these bogs. So a lot of you know about beverage antennas. They are typically massively long, full wavelength antennas. A lot of folks will do like 1,000 feet. Some of those guys up in like the Arctic Circle do like 3,000, 4,000 feet, something like that. Like, it's crazy. But the idea of a beverage is you get it about 8 to 10 feet off the ground or so, and you just stretch it out in one direction, and you have a termination on one end, and you have a feed point on the other, and the termination is the direction of your antenna. So if you have it pointing off in the northwest, and that's where your termination is, you're going to get stuff to the northwest. And it's super, super tight beam width. So it's like a laser pointer for DX in that general direction. But, I mean, who's got room to put up 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet of beverage in one direction, right? I sure don't. So, there is this other option that is out there called the beverage on the ground. What it basically does is you move that 8 to 10 feet elevation of the beverage down to the ground. And by doing so, you actually can use a shorter run, because electrically, even though the actual physical wire is shorter, I'm talking like 250, 300 feet, even though the wire itself physically is shorter, electrically, it's like twice as long as it is physically, right? So you have that 250 footer, it's like a 500 foot beverage, which is a good beverage, right? It's a decent beverage. Some of these guys are putting up 300 and 400 foot bogs, 500 foot bogs. Well, guess what? You double that, right? And that's how electrically long you're talking here. And it's the same thing. You've got a feed point on one side, termination side on the opposite side, and that's the direction that you're pointing, basically. Some folks will do multiple bogs in kind of a parallel array, or maybe even in-fire with adequate amount of spacing between all the antennas, and then they'll run those into a quantum. They'll leave it or some kind of phasing unit or diversity mode. They'll leave it unterminated, and then they can just kind of zoom around and use the phasing to kind of just scan around, right? And look between the two horizons, whichever way they want to go. So here at DX Central, I thought to myself, I was like, wait a minute, a antenna that is designed to be on the ground? Okay, that's what I need. So let's try it out. But I, in a suburban lot here, have a limitation on the amount of size that I can work with. The absolute maximum amount of distance between end to end of an antenna in my current setup is about 120 feet, and that is like at the road, which I can't really do in this case because there's a big tree stump there and lots of roots and things like that, and you have to have a ground rod on each end of this antenna like you would on a beverage, and so I can't go the full 120 feet. I can get to about 111 feet. So I've been trying out one about 111, 112 feet long. It's in that northwest-southeast orientation, and I've got it fed with a 4-to-1 transformer that I hand wound here at the workshop, and put that in. I also tried out a 9-to-1 as well. I even tried using an amplifier with that one, which actually I might want to try with the 4-to-1. I haven't thought about that. Let me back up for a second there. Right now, I'm just using a passive transformer, though, no amplification, and it's worked well. At 111 feet, it's a little short, but it's electrically, it's like over 200 feet long, which is not really beverage territory, right? It's like kind of long wire territory, like long wire territory. But at least you have a termination, you have a transformer, so it's a little more sophisticated than like a long wire would be. But it's really very bi-directional. Even with the termination, I haven't really been able to dial in. I've tried a couple of different variable resistors. I tried 1,000 ohm. I tried a 5,000 ohm variable resistor, and I just have not yet been able to dial in the amount of resistance needed to get a deep null on the opposite side of that termination. So in this case, I can't get a deep null at the northwest. I'm trying to null out WBAP in Dallas, and hopefully hearing like Tampa Bay, WWBA, Largo, or Cuba on the southeast side. I hear them there, but I still got a whole lot of WBAP in the signal as well. So I haven't been able to find any kind of resistance values on that termination side yet to kind of really null them on the backside out. And at the shorter it is, the less side rejection you also get. So the stuff off to the sides is going to be pretty high in the signal as well. The longer you go, the better it's going to be at rejecting things off the backside and off the sides. And that's evidenced by one of our shout outs we'll be getting to here in a few moments for our friend Sean Kutzko, KX9X in Champaign, Illinois. I remember this time. He's got him I think it's a 240 foot bog. We'll confirm it here when we get into the shout out. So it's about 240 foot beverage on the ground. And like the first night, he got 15 new stations. And it's all in the direction of that northwest, right? Northwest. So it's crushing it for him. Jeff Emmel, the Notorious B.O.G. in the chat right now. Well, he's Jeff in the chat, but Notorious B.O.G. over here, he's been crushing it with his bogs that he's been working on. He was kind of the inspiration for a lot of us to kind of start trying this out. So at 111 feet, mine's a little bit short. It's not doing a lot of termination, but that's not to say it's not working, because it is. In fact, I'm going to put the cart before the horse here and do my shout out a little early. It got me a new country this week. It actually did. It got me a new country. It got Dominican Republic in the logbook. And a lot of you know I've been trying. I've been trying like crazy to get Dominican Republic in the logbook, and with my other antennas that were in the southeast configuration, they were just never there. Like I'd pull up the stream and I'd listen, they were never there. Even when KGLA would be off the air, never could hear them, never there. Then KGLA would come back and it would be just like, well, never mind. Tried them on a couple of different frequencies, never could get them. But the bog and no KGLA was the formula. That was what got them in. I heard enough of them in there. They weren't strong. I heard enough of them in there to be able to compare to their stream, and boom, there they were. So that one got me a new country this week on the southeast antenna, which was nice. That's the only log that I actually got on that antenna so far, but it got me Dominican Republic for the first time in Mandeville. So I can't really say it's not working, because clearly it's working. It's just not working as well as what I would expect it to. Even at the shorter distance or the shorter length, even shorter, I feel like it should be doing something a little bit more. Now, part of this may be I did some exploring today when I was doing some measurements for some other antennas I want to do, and I noticed a bunch of like chicken wire fencing type stuff in the ground on the northwest side of that bog, and like basically the bog is laying on top of this, so it looked like there might have been like a chicken coop or something in this corner of our property at one time. So I don't know. I need to go in there, pull that end of the bog up, and see if I can root around in there and getting that chicken wire, whatever this stuff is. It's a bunch of metal basically on the ground that this antenna is laying on top of. I'm sure that's part of why I'm having difficulty using getting any kind of nulling or anything like that. So I'm sure that's part of it. So before I completely say I'm going to rip this sucker up, I want to give it a good hearty attempt here. I did put on my W6 LVP loop today with a 9-to-1 transformer. It overloaded my Kiwi. I had to put about 15 dB of attenuation in there just to get it like manageable. And so if I'm using attenuation, that's not really, I've taken the amplifier back off. I'm back to my 4-to-1, and that's what you see on screen right now. If you look over here at this is what's there now. This is the southeast bog with no attenuation and just the passive 4-to-1 transformer in line. So that's it right there. Compare that to when we go to the 22x72 SuperLoop, which is also passive on a 16-to-1 transformer. You see much more green and yellow and stuff like that in the signal. So much more stronger signals here. On the 22x72 SuperLoop compared to the 112-foot beverage on the ground. Two very different antennas, but it's just worth kind of comparing to kind of see how do they stack up against each other. The overall signal to noise ratio on this SuperLoop or on the bog is about 26 dB right now. It goes up to about 28, 29 dB, where my SuperLoops usually hover near 40 at the peak. So it's about 10 dB back, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if it's kind of pulling back on the signal levels a little bit, because that can potentially, and that's usually the thing with the bog, is they give you a higher signal to noise ratio. Like, so you get a lower noise floor and better chance to hear stuff. I'm also concerned that maybe my connection to ground, I have 2 ground rods, 1 on each end, concerned that maybe my connections there aren't super tight and super connective. So I might play with that a little bit and see if I can improve the connection to from the transformer box that I have, the black binding post. I have a banana plug in there that goes to a wire. That wire goes to the ground, and there's a, the ground clamp's got a screw. Kind of have it wrapped around that screw, and that's tightened all the way down to the rod. I don't know if that's the super best connection that I can possibly have. I tried to lug, but even that, it won't go all the way down because it's up against that. So I might try to maybe put the wire on the rod and then put the screw down on the wire. I don't know. I got to play with that a little bit, and maybe I want to solder something. I haven't really gotten that far yet, but I want to check my ground connections. I want to see if I can get that metal off the ground on the northwest side, and then I want to kind of play with it a bit more. If this is not going to work the way that I want it to and give me the directionality that I want to, I can replace that. I did some measurements today. I can replace it with a northwest-southeast SuperLoop that runs about 25 feet high by about 76 feet long. So I can do that. I don't want to do that because that will be one end of that SuperLoop will be pretty close to one of the ends on my 15195 SuperLoop, so we kind of near each other, spaced by a couple of feet. I'd like them to be a little further apart, but I don't know. We'll see. But I've got some options, so I do want to play around a bit with the bog, and try it out and see what I can do, to make it work a little bit better. I just right now it's not doing what I want it to do fully on the directivity side. And even though the signals are a little weaker, I'm not opposed to that, but I'd like a little bit more back end null. If I had a little bit more back end null, I feel like I'd be a little bit happier with what I'm hearing on the southeast side, because the signals are there. Like Cuba's mega loud on this thing, and like I said, Dominican Republic was there, but it's just missing something that I can't really put my finger on. So we'll keep trying. But I know Sean, Jeff, a lot of you guys are putting bogs out and just crushing it. Keep it up. Love seeing the reports of what you guys are getting. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and get to our first round of shout outs here.
Shout out loud, hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM, from C to C. We celebrate the ones who snag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
Yeah. So let's do these shout outs for us here. And we're going to start off with our friend Dennis up in Virginia. Dennis Bannister here. A couple new ones here. Got 1270 WMPM in Smithville, North Carolina. Had an Eatonville, Florida, but cut off there. Not sure who that was supposed to be, Dennis, but it just says Eatonville, Florida. WCBC, I can probably look. 1270 Eatonville was, is that WIWA? Yeah, WIWA. WCBC, Cumberland, Maryland, and WXGO, Madison, Indiana. 1280 WJAY, Mullins, South Carolina. WGBF in Evansville. WKST, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. CFMB, Montreal, and WODT here in New Orleans. And 1290 WJNO, West Palm Beach. Binghamton, New York. That is that WMBF. Yeah, WMBF, Binghamton, New York. And Keene, New Hampshire. That's WKBK. Keene. I was just talking earlier today that with all my travels that I've done out west and Outer Banks and all the different places that I've traveled in DX, I have heard every single state in the lower 48 from all those different locations except for one, and it's New Hampshire. There you go. WKBK, Keene, New Hampshire. For our friend Dennis in Virginia. So we got to fire up our shout outs here with the new logs. And And because of that Louisiana law, we got to give him a little bit of that gumbo, baby. There you go, Dennis. And I was reading, Jeff, you're talking about the chemical ground. Yeah, we have very sandy soil here, as you can imagine here in, we're about a mile off of Lake Pontchartrain. It's very sandy. Very, very sandy. So I might try that. See if that helps a little bit. Because I'm also thinking, I don't know if the southeast end where that ground rod is, I don't know if that's very good ground there anyway, because there's a pipe, conduit pipe, somewhere in there that's supposed to be like where the little ditch goes. So like do like runoff for water and stuff like that. Somewhere under there is a conduit. I didn't have to puncture anything when I was putting the ground rod in. It just went straight in. But it might have already been deteriorated. I might be just having part of my ground rod sticking into a conduit. I don't know. We have to try that. Well done, Dennis, my friend, with the gumbo and the logs for you, my friend. Let me get this there. Okay. Our next one goes to our friend David Pete up in Maine. David's also experimenting with a bog, by the way. Was it 800 feet? Didn't I see that? 800 feet of wire? 8 new logs this week for David, 4 for the challenge. Best log was 650 WNMT in Minnesota, 1,173 miles. That's his 9th Minnesota, and overall, number 819 for our friend Dave Pete. Well done, my friend. Yeah, 800 feet. Ooh. 800 feet of wire he's going to stretch out over top of snow, and we know what snow does. Snow on the ground is a proven, wink wink, proven DX magnet. You can just put wire randomly over top of snow and you'll get DX. Wink wink. Next up on our shout out list is our friend John Johnson in Arizona. New logging thanks to our current challenge. Always love hearing that. KSLI 1280 in Abilene, Texas. That's 115 Texas stations logged from Mesa, Arizona. Have now logged 891 stations from here in the past 10 years. Well done, my friend. I wonder how many Louisiana stations he has. Because I'll tell you what, Arizona stations in Louisiana, forget it. I don't know what it is. But there are 3 states. I'll revise. 3 states that I have heard, but I just can't catch a break. Arizona, Utah, and Minnesota. Now, of those 3, I've heard 3 Minnesotas, but only 1 Arizona, 1 Utah. So Minnesota's a little bit better, but I would think, given the fact that I'm due south of Minnesota, that I would have a bit more Minnesota stations in the logbook than I do. I'm due south, and I've got quite a bit in Wisconsin, Michigan, and a lot of the states around Minnesota. I only got 1 South Dakota and 1 North Dakota, but that kind of makes sense, honestly. Minnesota, that one kind of doesn't make sense to me why I only have 3. And then Arizona, I've got more California than I do Arizona. I mean, there's 50 kilowatts, but still. And expanded band, but still. And Utah. Just no. So there you go. That's where I'm sitting at. We got our friend Sean Kutsko to get to here in a little bit. We're gonna hold on to yours, my friend, because yours deserves a little spotlight. So we're gonna go to our friend David. David Harden, David's Radio Room from Georgia. Only 2 new ones this week, 1480 WJTW in Bridgeport, Alabama, and Radio Reloj, Victoria de las Tunas Cuba on 1210. A new frequency for the station form. Keep plugging away, trying to find new stations. That's the name of the game, brother. There you go. David with the new Radio Reloj and also the new Alabama station. Very nice. Well done, man. Well done. And we'll do one more this round, and then we'll come back to some more. Because like I said, we got our friend Sean Kutsko had himself a week again this week, like he did last year 1 week. So Carl DeWitt in Tennessee, our Summer of DX Challenge champion. And soon, hopefully, we'll have a DX Central SuperLoop up in the air. We can get that. That's his prize for winning the Summer of DX Challenge. Is I'm going to provide him with the wire, the transformer, and the variable resistor to put up a nice big SuperLoop at his joint. So all he'll have to supply is the feed line and the vertical supports and the radio. All the rest of it, the wire and the two boxes on the ends, are going to be supplied, and he can have himself a new SuperLoop. So just got to work on that this week, actually. So what did Carl hear this week? 4 new stations, 2 on the challenge frequency, CFMB 1280 Montreal, and WNBF 1290 in Binghamton, New York, WJKY 1060 Jamestown, Kentucky, and KXJK 950 in Forest City, Arkansas, brings him to a total now of 899 stations. Well done, my friend. All right, so we've got a couple of shout-outs still left to get to. We'll save those for next round, including our friend Sean Kutsko's amazing week with his new bog, and it was a 240-footer, right? Didn't I have that right? Yep, 240-foot bog, north-northwest, about 310 degrees. So those tales will be told here in our next round. All right, we got ourselves some time here. Let's take a look. We already looked at the Airspy, which is the Airspy sale that's going on right now. And how you can get a great deal on a Airspy HF Plus Discovery for $126. Let's talk a bit about the. We've already mentioned when the announcement came out for this one, the RSP-ST. It's the networked receiver SDR from SDR Play. It's kind of like their version of the Kiwi. Got a built-in computer, plug and play. You just connect your antennas, connect your Ethernet, and you're off and running. So there's a couple things here that I want to make sure you guys kind of know about. The number one thing that I've got a Kiwi, and I've got my Kiwi antenna switch that I have multiple now AM antennas now running through, and we'll continue to kind of build that out as we get closer to 4 and 5 of those antennas into the Kiwi. And so I was kind of on the fence, like, I don't know if I'm going to buy one. I've already got a Kiwi. I was kind of thinking about maybe buying a second Perseus to have for portable use and some projects I want to do for that. And also to have as a second recording device here in the shack. But I hadn't really thought of like a reason for me to do this one. The price is not terrible. $499. I mean, it's $500. That's not cheap. But the thing about this one that I keep coming back to, and why like I haven't put a firm like nah, I'm good on this one yet, is the FM. It's got FM capabilities. You can DX FM on this thing. It's got a built-in like WebOS interface. You can use SDR Connect, but you can also use like kind of like the Kia has the open web receiver interface. You can kind of do something like that as well. But the idea of putting up an FM receiver online, I would probably pair this, if I was going to do it, with my 4-element log periodic, because I would have that kind of broad bandwidth of the entire FM band on one antenna. So I probably would pair it with that for the best performance on, just like the whole band. And that would also be the same antenna I'm thinking I'm thinking that's going to be the antenna that I put on my Elad FDMS3. Because I need something broadband for my broadband recordings that I do. And that would then take the Stereo Probe 9 that I have and put that on my RSP Duo along with the 62-foot Omni, and then that's what I'd be using for diversity mode and stuff like that. It's a little more laser pointed, but with the 4-element log periodic, I haven't shut the door on this one just yet, so we shall see. Yeah, I mean, Jacob nailed it. The one thing you got going, one thing for this unit is you can do broadcast FM with it, where the Kiwi is only up to 30 megahertz. That's exactly what's kind of pulling me back in. That's the idea of doing FM remotely like that and making that available for others to do as well. I kind of like that. Now, you can do that. There is, and I wanted to talk about this last week, and I just didn't have a chance to do it. But there is an option. You can do that today. You can put a FM receiver up today that other folks can DX from. And you can DX from other FM receivers today. And there's a couple of different ways you can do that. But I think probably my favorite one that I've seen so far is here. It's at the FMDX web server. So these are the same folks that do the TEF 6686 project, right? So the fmdx.org, the FMDX web server here. So I'm going to just go ahead and go into servers.fmdx.org, servers.fmdx.org. You see all these, every one of these are a FM receiver that's available for you to DX from. There's some Australians, India's in here, there's some Europeans, you got some right here in the Azores. Ooh, that's going to be nice for E-skip season. You got the Canary Islands. You got a couple here in South America. And then there are some here in the U.S. as well. We've got one down in Miami. Edinburgh, Indiana. He's got that one up there too. We've got Hartford, Connecticut, and Tabernacle. Nick has got himself one of these TEFs up here as well. So that's the easy way you do this, basically. You have a TEF 6686. You can make it available for anyone to DX off of. So let's just, as an example, let's just go down here to Miami. I'm going to go ahead and connect. And you're going to see the interface here. I'm going to bring down my volume here a little bit since we're on FM here. Hit play. So you can sit here, and each one looks a little different. I'm going to go to 92.5, 92.7. Oops. You can DX remotely as if you were there in Miami or wherever the receiver is. So you can do this now. And like I said, it does use, there's the PI code. So if you think you've got an opening to a certain area, you're trying to kind of use Miami here. Let's say you have some DX in the Miami and you want to compare to what you're hearing, you could do that. Just like you would with a Kiwi, you can do that here on this fmdx.org web server. And there's a couple of other ones here. Let me go back to Edinburgh here. He's got, I think, a couple of TEFs up here on his. Let's go ahead and connect. Yeah, this is a little more basic design. He has a rotor on his. What? No, is that the current? Let's be authenticated to use. Okay, so you can't turn it unless you have the authentication, but you can see what direction the antenna is pointing at the very least. So in this case, it's 126 degrees, kind of southeastish from Edinburgh. And there you go. This will tell you who the station is, I think a lot of times as well. 6236 Freedom 95. And I think, if I remember right, a lot of these it'll actually tell you, some of them will actually say this is the name of the station. Like, these are the call letters. They have a little plug-in to do a lookup. So yeah, try it out if you're into FMDX and you want to try DXing from different places. Here's Hartford, Connecticut. Let's go look at this one. I'm sorry, Tabernacle. Let's go to Tabernacle here. See what Nick's got on his TEF. So you could buy a TEF just like you could for the auto logging. Buy a TEF, and they tell you the instructions here on how to set it up and get it connected up online and do everything you need to do. Plug an antenna into it, and then you can DX from wherever you might be. Other folks can DX from wherever they are. Here you go, WRFF Philadelphia, New Jersey, right here. So this is going to actually tell you when the PI code comes in who the station is. There's your PI code. Here's who it is. Here's the text. Here's all the decode stuff. Like it's all there. So again, that is servers.fmdx. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. Servers.fmdx.org. I'll drop that in the chat for you guys. Servers.fmdx.org. So, and then again, they do have stations international, or these are available internationally down in Australia. You want to DX Australia FM? I mean, they're in e-skip season right now. India, down in the South America, down here, they're in e-skip season down here in Chile. Want to try it out? There you go. There's your options. There's some options there for you. So I think it'd be really cool if we had more stations available, or more receivers available here in the U.S. So fmdx.org is the website where they have their details here about the web server, how you can set it up. They have the different plugins you can get for it and things like that. So I'll also drop this link in the chat as well if you're interested in setting up your own, and I highly recommend that you do. And I'm thinking about doing this myself, getting another TEF just for this purpose. Once I get my log periodic antenna built, is I would have this available. So there you go. If you aren't going the route of the RSP network receiver, you don't have $500 to spend, and I definitely understand that, because I'm over here going $500 just for FM. You can do the $60, $70 TEF, and through a different interface, kind of do the same thing. So just something to think about. If you don't have a Kiwi, today, I think that SDR Play RSP networked receiver is a fantastic option, right? Because it's giving you all of HF and FM, and it's super easy to use. So if you don't have a Kiwi today, and you've got $500 available to you to spend, I think it's a fantastic option to explore that. If you do have a Kiwi, like myself, like I've already got the AM and the HF covered. I just want to add the FM, so maybe I might just do the TEF. So that's just some things to think about. All right, we are getting close here to the last 10 minutes of the hour here, so I would like to go ahead and introduce our new frequency range. We got about 10 minutes left of this current frequency range, 1270 to 1290. So if you haven't got your logs in, you still got some time. But I would like to go ahead and introduce ourselves to our next frequency range. So, Ralph, if you could please. There you go, 1150 to 1180. That's our new frequency range for this week and our frequency challenge. We've only got 2 more weeks after this. After we complete this week, we're starting right now. Once that's over, we've got 2 weeks left. And then it's on to a whole new ball game, literally. Whole new game. We'll be changing it up pretty significantly after that. All right, so let's go ahead and start us off here on 1150 to 1180. I've got WJBO here on 1150 in Baton Rouge and Red Stick. It's pretty loud usually, but I think we can probably get around that. So let's start off with that. Oh, by the way, to kind of put a final pin here in the online receiver stuff, there is a couple of different options in addition to the Kiwi. Global Tuners is a good one. You have to have a membership. You have to get approved for. But they have a lot of receivers. You can also do things like SDR Console has some network receivers you can connect to. Airspy has their spy server. Like all these different ones have server capabilities. If you're wanting to make your receiver available for those, a lot of those you have to do like port forwarding or proxy services and things like that, which is why for whatever reason, I have a mental block about how to set all that stuff up. I've still yet to figure that out. So I'm like, hey, I want something that's super easy to do. So that's why the Kiwi was where I went, because I wanted to make a receiver available, and Kiwi made sure I didn't have to do all that port forwarding and proxy service and whatnot and stuff. Looks like the RSP option also is the same way. You don't have to do all that stuff. It's kind of built in. I haven't read through all the documentation yet on the TEF to make it available for fmdx.org. I don't know for sure, but when I kind of breezed through the documentation previously, I don't remember reading anything about that. So that's something to think about. There'll be a second round of the scavenger hunt. Yes, we will be doing another round of the scavenger hunt soon. So stand by for that. We'll be coming back around to the scavenger hunt, doing rounds 2 and 3. There'll be 3 rounds of the scavenger hunt for this season. All right, let's go ahead and start off here on the Kiwi. We're on 1150. We're going to start off on our southeast antenna. Why is my switching disabled? Oh, that's the wrong one. That's why I was on the shortwave central Kiwi. 1150. We're going to start off on the bog, and then we're going to make our way around all the antennas. Last one we'll do here is the west SuperLoop, because that's going to have the most red stick in it. So. Let's see if that is red stick. I'm assuming it is. Yeah, that's red stick.
Home for Christmas. .com, also available going back.
Let's go on the north SuperLoop. See if we can get rid of them enough.
Think about this, and as someone that I know has dealt with this before, because I had a friend who was in a very tough situation.
See if I can get rid of them here. Speaking my vactrol, it's been set to WODT all week. That was WJBO, Stu. 1150 WJBO. I think I've got them. I mean, they're still in there. But I think I've got them knocked down quite a bit here.
In other words, you're too much of a brain on the twisted here, too much of a bob. And not just doing it, when it eventually gets the third place, the man.
Well, now they're coming back. It's been hard this week to null people. The ionosphere has been doing some weirdness this week. Like stations just appearing out of nowhere and then disappearing after a few seconds, like meteor scatter. Nulling a station out, and then they just keep coming back. Like, you have that during gray line. It's hard to null a station out because you get these multi-phase kind of angles and things, but at night, it shouldn't be like that. But it is. All right, I think that's going to be as much as I can do for right now with them. Let's check 1160. That's on the north. Here's the west. See if we can get KSL in here. That's going to be the one that I think a lot of folks are chasing this week is KSL. And they do show up fairly often here. 1170. And then you hit some KRMG.
From a quality control perspective, Jerry, your points are...
Or I guess KOTV.
Do carry on.
KRMG is 740.
Our
quality club
KOTV is the Oklahoma City, Tulsa. I'll get it out in a second.
Still error-free, Jerry. We clean the blowers and
On the North SuperLoop.
the heat exchanger and check your carbon monoxide levels. It's everything you need to prepare for a warm and cozy winter.
Maybe I can get the WWVA this week. Maybe. They're not super common.
Would be required. Yeah, you are a good boy.
Hey, Mark.
QualityPromise.com.
Hi, I'm Jackie Newton with Oklahoma-owned Stuart Martin Kubota in Okmulgee, Muskogee, Broken Arrow, and SME Belton Reynolds on 151st Street, west of Memorial in Bixby. Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. It's hard to believe that the end of the year is just around the corner, and that means it's a great time.
Nice to see you in there, my friend. Well done, Mark, for joining in. Appreciate you being here.
Equipment such as the Kubota skid steer or Kubota tractor in this calendar year. Also, a great time to ask about
73, Carl.
service special. We want to make sure your tractor, construction equipment, or mower is the
That's got to be Tulsa, right?
for sales or service.
How about tractors?
Or visit us at StuartMartinKubota.com. That's StuartMartinKubota.com.
Be your tax advisor for details. Learn more at KubotaUSA.com.
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Man, let's check 1180 now here real quick before we swap around. Now, if I go to the Southeast Bog... Rebelde, 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 rebelde. Echo, 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 echo. Rebelde, rebelde, rebelde. Yep, tons of rebelde. On the North SuperLoop, though...
Fourth quarter. 3:16 times the first and goal up to 5. Looks like they're going to call maybe the forward from the scoreboard from here. Looks like they're going to ride it.
DX Central Live Top of the Hour Alert.
All right. On the lower side, see if I get rid of that IBOC. Oh, the west antenna? That rebelde. So who is this on the west side? Oh, that's probably Mexico. Or Radio Felicidad XEFR. That's probably who that is. At 283 degrees, or 263 on this antenna. They're at 220. That's probably who this is. Let's go back to the north wire.
Irwin 33, Tribe 23. We'll be right back with you. This is Friday Night Football at WBGZ.
The official Airspy corpus turned to Target on November 29th, featuring over 500 photographs of the tour, including never-before-seen performance and behind-the-scenes images. And for the first time, the Tortured Poets Department anthology with 35 tracks on CD vinyl. Only at Target.
You're listening to Central Mississippi's News Talk Leader. You can lock us in on 96.9 FM and keep enjoying the programs you love. Jackson's News Talk never sounded so good. News Talk 1180 AM, 96.9 FM is WJNT Pearl Jackson.
There you go.
The tariff war between the United States and Mexico could be growing and may cost you.
At high school football, they had an ID But he kind of brushed it aside really quickly. I know one of the teams is Irwin. That could be Knoxville. It could be Arkansas.
Mexico's president downplayed fears of a trade war.
I know there's an Irwin up in Tennessee.
And if you couldn't
Care of threats are generating.
they built it at about the 29-yard line,
down party line.
and they're going to go
I don't
down
know, Barry, if you have ears on them.
34 maybe.
Retail Federation says American
So not an onside to the blue kick. Yep.
Something a little different.
But we
Isn't that amazing, Mark?
Now we're down by 10 with 11:38 to go. Can't give up a long grinding drive here.
One of my favorite parts about doing these live streams is just the vast difference that we all have.
fourth quarter, they're probably not going to throw the ball at all. So
You've got to find a way to stop that ground game. They've just been so dynamic, just coming right at us.
The instability we've already had
Yeah.
thunderstorm
Yeah,
up
you're
around
right,
Watertown
you're
and areas north of
nothing real
Syracuse.
fancy.
Nothing yet here.
Gotcha, Barry.
Now almost up to 19 and a half, pushing 20 inches of snow.
I'm recording on my north one too. On Perseus.
give it to the fullback. He bounces outside. We hit him up. Well, I thought we hit him up. He's still fighting.
They blew the whistle.
We'll go ahead and get that.
I'll give us 23 credit there.
No credit yet. You see the hand
Get that page updated for you guys.
He runs bigger than his size, and he's got speed as well.
He's got top end speed to burn.
So they're going to give him
about almost, well, we'll call it 3.
Yeah, we'll call it 3 there, but he earned every bit of it.
Yes. They put Marshall, the halfback, in motion and just gave him on a quick hitter. Gained 3 yards. It'll be second about 7.
One receiver up top.
All right, the frequency challenge website should be updated now with the new link.
Yeah, this is what you need. They need to get the ball back here for the offense in a big way.
In a big way.
Can't give up a big chunk play here. You really need a stop and a punt.
So the ball is spotted right on the 40. They've got to get to the 44. So
big play.
Third down and 4.
The crowd comes alive.
And you got to think Irwin's just going to stick to what they've been doing here. It's a big tight end right there. Oh, they faked the handoff to quarterback. Oh, they fooled us on that one.
Sure did.
They fooled us on that one. They faked the handoff and did a quarterback bootleg. And we had nobody at home on the outside.
They faked that trap and Roberts bit hard.
Yeah, Roberts was out there.
Him and Lane Harris really.
Everybody bit on inside that fake burn.
I mean, they burned us so bad on that. And that was a really good play there. They faked that little quick pullback trap.
Mark, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I've got 150 kilowatt to contend with. It's WWL. It's a big one.
The alleged threats, saying, quote, threats of violence against elected officials.
But it's across the lake from me, so it's not too bad.
And have no place in a civilized society. This comes as several of President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees also face threats of violence in recent days. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
President Biden's on the borders today. His administration is working with the FBI to find out.
Okay, so yeah, the new challenge page is up and running.
Cucumbers during your thing.
I don't know why it's showing old numbers here, but
Potential salmonella contamination.
oh, I must have pulled the wrong links in. Oh,
Between October 12th and November 12th.
I'll fix that.
The Food and Drug Administration says the recall is for whole, fresh American cucumbers, and the states involved include Alaska, California, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Washington, and Utah. They would have reached customers through food service and retail outlets. FDA officials say some
How did I do that?
direct buyers to let them know about the recall.
That's what I get for doing it the last, the day of.
Symptoms that can begin 6 hours to 6 days after ingesting the bacteria and include diarrhea, fever, and stomach cramps. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
And AAA says average cost per gallon of gasoline in the United States just about $3.06. That's down 7 cents since last month. I'm John Saucier, and this is Fox News.
Trusted steel power in the palm of your hand.
I don't know how that happened.
Save $30 on the Jeep.
They grabbed the wrong, has the right form.
Check out the data from the top of their web screen and make
Yeah, the right form is there. So you can submit. You can submit on the right form that's on the page. It'll work fine. And all your entries will go to the right place. What's not updated is it grabbed the wrong tables for some reason. So I'll fix that. But you can go ahead and start submitting logs to the form now. It works fine.
That's bad for every gallon of gas you buy. I've already made around 200 bucks. You can make that kind of cash back just for buying gas. I'm stopping now to download Upside and pull up my page.
So one of the stations we have here first off is WJNT in Laurel, Mississippi. Pearl, Mississippi.
Both of them worked. Yep. There he is, fullback again, right up the middle. Golly, he's quick. I mean, that's 7 yards. Just bam.
You know, that's no dancing, no dodging. That's just straight ahead.
This is the Joe Kaz Show. To talk to Joe, call 888.
You at least grab the.
And now,
played a little bit on the drive. In the third half, some touchdowns.
I'm at least going to grab the log page right now. So you guys can have that. Let's go 1170.
During the holiday weekend, the National Retail Federation predicts 85 million people are going to be heading to a store. Those sales expected to be 3.2% higher than last year. Retail Minoc Stephanie Carl says it's important to have a strategy when you're out shopping.
Holiday deals are always
Why is it doing it again?
but creating a shopping list and a budget is going to help prevent those impulse purchases and overspending.
And if you miss out today, holiday deals are expected to continue through the weekend and into December. Shoppers will be headed out to their favorite stores.
Oh, I know why.
Those Black Friday deals.
I know why it's doing that.
Is live from the Tulsa Premium Outlet Mall in Jinx with shoppers.
We're good. I know exactly why it did that.
To shop there.
We're good. Everything should be good now.
Good morning. I spoke with the spokesperson for the Tulsa Premium Outlet who said they're excited as it's their first Black Friday and they're really expecting a pretty large crowd.
Let's go check out and see what we caught here at the top of the hour on the Perseus. We were on the North SuperLoop. We were recording on that. So let's take a look and see what we caught here at the top of the hour on that sequence. Urban 1180.
96.9 FM and keep enjoying the programs you love. Jackson's News Talk never sounded so good. News Talk 1180 AM, 96.9 FM. It's WJMT, Pearl Jackson.
So there is Pearl.
The United States and Mexico never sounded so good. You can lock us in on.
And for the first time,
Let's see if I can see who that was.
23. We'll be right back with you. This is Friday Night Football on WBTZ.
Okay, who is that? W what? One more time. We did get the ID there from him, though. One more time.
Irwin 33, try 23. We'll be right back with you. This is Friday Night Football on WBTZ.
All right, he said Tryon. That's also a school in North Carolina. So is Irwin. Tryon is Let's try it again.
We'll be right back with you. This is Friday Night Football on WBTZ.
ZQZ? Oh, I bet that is who that is.
Irwin 33, try 23. We'll be right back with you. This is Friday Night Football on WBTZ.
ZQZ, that's who that is. Tryon, Georgia. High school football. Just doing a Google search here. For Tryon High School, they're playing against Irwin County, IRWIN. Irwin County tonight. Yep. That's who that is. That's WZQZ that was running that high school football. There you go. The magic of recording. Let's go check out 1170 and see what we catch at top of the hour.
Her smile is as bright as her future, but there's something you wouldn't know about Zena. She was born with a cleft lip, which can make it hard to eat, talk, hear, and even at no cost to families. Smile Train is working tirelessly to give every child with a cleft the opportunity to live their full smile story. Learn how you can help more kids like Zena at smiletrain.org/learn.
This is KOTV Tulsa, KVOO HD2 Tulsa, KHTT HD2 Muskogee, KXPL HD2 Henrietta.
It's 9 o'clock. President
There we go.
Trump gets some pushback about his threat.
1160. Who do we catch?
Radio, AM 1160, The Quest. Your own modern age.
The Miracle Hunter, tomorrow at 1 p.m.
This is the home of listener-supported Atlanta Catholic Radio, AM 1160, The Quest, WCFO, East Point, Atlanta.
Who's the 100.5?
From the National Catholic Register, this is Register Radio.
Hear that? Oh, no, that was website. Never mind. All right, so we got WCFO in East Point, Georgia on 1160. 1170, we managed to hear KOTV in Tulsa. And then on 1180, we actually got two stations. We got WJNT here in Pearl, Mississippi, and WZQZ in Tryon, Georgia. Let's go to 1150 and see who we caught here at top of the hour.
Free bottles for limited time, so call 800-686-2430. That's 800-686-2430.
So still WJBO kind of owning there on 1150 for us. So that's who we had on 1150. So not a bad little haul there for our first top of the hour of the new week. We had a station on each frequency, and 1180 we got a couple. So let me double check and make sure that all the tables should now be updated. I forgot when I copied over what I usually do is I copy over the last week's spreadsheet into the new week, because all the tables are already built, and I just kind of copy it over. But I always have to remember to delete the entries that are on the entries page. I didn't do that. That's why we saw what we saw. So yeah, there's probably not going to be any data until you guys start submitting. Yeah, that's good. That's what I wanted to see. So once you start submitting stuff, all the tables should start updating. It might take it a second, but it will get in there. So we should be good to go there. So the page is open again to participate in our DX challenges. Just go to dxchallenges.com and make sure you register, and then you can take part in our weekly frequency challenges. And so that's starting now through 0200 UTC next week. We're on 1150 to 1180. That's our challenge for this week, 1150 to 1180. As many stations as you can hear between now and next week on those frequencies, 1150, 1160, 1170, 1180. If you are international and you want to do those 9 kilohertz frequencies in between, go for it. Or if you're in a position where you can hear stuff on those 9 kilohertz in between, go for it. Knock yourself out. But anything between 1150 and 1180 is fair game for our challenge here. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to do some more live DX. We're going to talk a bit more about some FM. We'll take a look and see if anything came in on our auto loggers while we were away. And go from there. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More great DX is heading your way on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by
With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central. From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
Mexico Mike, you just made my night. I love Beach House. I love those guys. Master of None is... It's one of those songs I'll put on every once in a while just to listen to and just kind of tune out the world for a little bit. It gives me chills. Like I've seen some of the videos on YouTube of them performing it live at like festivals and stuff. And every time I just love that song. Love Master of None. One of my all-time favorite songs, actually. So the fact that you just mentioned Beach House in the chat just made my night. There you go. DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. And we are here in Studio A, and we are bringing you live DX topics and conversation, witty banter from time to time for an extra fee, and challenges, frequency challenges, to see if you can hear as many stations as you possibly can on a range of frequencies. Right now, we just started a new one, 1150 to 1180. We just wrapped up our previous week, which was 12, I already forgotten, 1260, no, 1270 to 1290. I'll get it out in a second. And so I want to take a really quick look back on those frequencies and just see how we did. I feel like I don't do this enough. I don't really reflect back on the week that was nearly enough before we just move on to the next one. Did bruise myself tonight. So let's take a look at the numbers here from our most recent week. 1270, 1290, 276 total logs from 19 of you all submitting DX logs, which is awesome. 3 different countries heard. US, Canada, Mexico were the 3. 38 states logged this week. And Barry, our top dog, with 37 stations logged, right not too far behind. Jacob with 30. Dennis, man, he's been crushing it this year, 26. We had 21 here, as well as our friend David up in Maine, 21 for him as well. David Pete. Neil with 19 from Ontario. Greg Caniglio, our first round scavenger hunt winner up in New York, he had 19 as well. John Kutsko, KX9X in the chat. He's 18 this week. Also 18 from Matthew Sattel in Kansas, and our friend John in Delaware. So also John Johnson in there with 13. Jonathan Baldwin with 11. 9 for Greg. 6 for Mexico Mike, and for Mark Herson. Walter Johnson with 2, as well as Jerry Hart and David with 1 as well. So whether you submitted 1 or 37, I'm just glad you guys are here. Appreciate you guys being part of the fun. CFMB was the most commonly heard station, and that station is going to cause us a little bit later on in the show to do something that you guys absolutely love. So I'm not going to say what it is. I might, well, I'm going to have to do that a little bit later on in the program, because somebody got a new province this week because of CFMB. It might have been me. 110 total unique stations heard. Let me go back to the sheet here. 107 of those on 1270, by the way. I'm kind of surprised that 1270 was the top dog. Well, maybe not. I thought 1290 might be a little bit better, but it was actually the weakest. 16 states for our friend Barry. Jacob and Dennis with 15 each. Sean and myself at 13. I've been kind of enjoying the states this year. Historically, I have not done well in the state count, but this year it seems to be doing a little bit better. I did manage to get 3 countries this week, and one of those was for a new province. So we might see a bit of the moose and the fellas from Letterkenny, Alberta. Sean and a whole bunch of people here with 2 countries, either Mexico or Canada, in there. And so yeah, so some good stuff. Mileage. Jonathan, KBZZ in Nevada, that one kind of blew me away a little bit, to see that one on the list. So interesting catch there at 2,010 miles for Jonathan from Georgia. Jacob with KZNS there at 993 miles. The HVR was a big one for me here in Pennsylvania. That was 984 miles. We don't get a whole lot of that 800, 900 mile path to the Northeast here. You guys know I've kind of talked a bit about my desire to get more Minnesota and Michigan and stuff like that into the log. Anytime I see like all the stuff I used to get back in the day, like Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, when I lived in Charleston, any of those coming back in, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. But they don't come in very often, so we take what we can get. So Pennsylvania was a nice addition this week. Anytime I can get Pennsylvania in the logbook, I'm a happy man. Looking around on our 3 auto loggers right now, not a whole lot in the last 24 hours. We had a cold front come through and blew all the tropo out. We did have here on the 62 footer, we had a little bit of tropo here. I have to still check the log on these. I'm pretty sure WBPT is a relog, but I don't think I've got WBAM here in Montgomery at 254 miles. That one might be a new one. That came in on the 27th at 7:59 a.m. So we also had Waco showed up, KTUX up here in Carthage, Texas showed up. So we had a couple over here in this area as well. Tropo here a couple days ago before the cold front came through and just killed it. So this is kind of the usual assortment of stations we normally see here in Mandeville. So the autologgers, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're keeping an eye on things for me. And when something cool pops up, it throws it on there. So we haven't really had any meteor scatter. You guys know I wanted to do a little meteor scatter DX every week. The last 2 weeks, nothing really showing up. No pings on the recordings. So we'll keep doing those recordings, and when we get a ping that we want to look at, I don't listen to the ping before. I just see if we had any pings before the show, and then we live do that on the show with you guys when we actually review those live to see what we caught, if anything. But there have been no pings on the recordings the last couple of weeks. So meteor scatter has been a bit quiet. There was an e-skip opening though recently. Surprise, surprise. I was pretty surprised by that. If I go back in, I think it was yesterday morning. Let me double check. Sorry guys about the cough. Sinuses have been kicking me in the butt this week. I want to say it was yesterday morning or maybe the morning before. There was an e-skip opening that hit to my north. So let's take a look here and see if it shows up. No. What was the name? Okay, so yeah, Ethan, our friend Ethan Hester, Boot Crew North up in Arkansas, Sherwood, was seeing into Arizona. That's when it was. On the 28th, the morning of the 28th. This is around like 11 o'clock Central Time on the morning of the 28th. So he actually had, here, I'll show you guys the map, a couple of stations. This wasn't meteor scatter. This was e-skip. E-skip doesn't just happen in summertime or in that little late December, early January. It can happen anytime. It's just more common in those times. But here was a nice little sporadic opening that happened right here into Arizona from Arkansas. So a little bit to my north. If I would have had anything, it'd have been probably Colorado, Wyoming, and this path in here. But I didn't see anything pop up on my autologger. Didn't see anything pop up on my RDS decodes and SDR console. So we missed it here. It was a little bit kind of restricted to probably this quick path here for Ethan and Boot Crew North guys. So nothing here to speak of, but that is a nice reminder to, excuse me, keep an eye on the autologger map, keep an eye on the FM list map, because you never know, this time of the year, we are getting closer and closer to the Southern Hemisphere e-skip peak. And when they peak in this late December, early January, we get a little residual here in the Northern Hemisphere at the middle of our winter. So you may see some stuff popping up because, you know, it's gearing up pretty good down there. It should be. Hopefully. I hope they're getting something down there because we didn't get squat this year. But if they're getting a nice bit of e-skip down south in the Southern Hemisphere, maybe we have a chance to get a little bit up here. So keeping an eye on that would be a good idea. All right, let's get to some more shout-outs because shout-outs are always a lot of fun. And we got some good ones to get to. I'm going to come back to Sean here in just a moment. We got a couple of ones I want to get in first here. Starting with our friend Mexico Mike J down in Mexico, coincidentally. Let's go ahead and do this again.
Shout out, hear the call for every single big or small, from AM to FM to C to C. We celebrate the ones who snag the IT. Shout out, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way. Shout outs making waves today.
There we go. All right, our friend Mexico Mike J, who I just found out is a Beach House fan. So love that. Having another Beach House fan in the chat here. After years of monitoring, 830 finally pulled out a weak ID from WCCO Minneapolis under XEIT in Mexico City. Thanks to Jacob Hammond for helping me out with a clip of his pesky local. Isn't that awesome, man? Congratulations, dude. That's not his first Minnesota station, but that is his first log of WCCO. So you know what that means. We got to get that log out. All right, well done, my friend. All right, Stephanie, out in Palm Desert, out in the Southern California dreamland out there. New log for Stephanie, 1290 KPAY in Chico, California. Fox Sports, 5 kilowatts at 509 miles, but hey, they throw their signal due west at night, so she's pretty much perpendicular to their pattern. That's California number 147 for Stephanie. Well done. But we're not done. Stephanie got one of these. I think today, wasn't it? Nice little case that comes with it. The Quoteson, the DX286. I'm not even gonna try. The DX286 portable came in today or this week for Stephanie, and she says now part of the Radio Hacienda. Looking forward to pairing it with the PK loop, the vacuum cleaner hose loop, right? To see how it performs. What a nice little radio, packed with features, the low noise amplifier, attenuator, multiple bandwidth settings, full RDS, and more. So that's a new piece of gear. So we're gonna do the old unboxing video here. Yes. Always fun adding new gear to the collection. Well done, Stephanie, on the new log and the new gear. Congratulations. And looking forward to seeing what all you hear, especially when you do your cruises. Bringing that sucker with you. That's going to be very exciting to see. Jacob up in Minnesota in the chat is Airplane Engine. New log 1280 KZNS in Salt Lake. Heard using Channel L on the Kiwi on local WWTC match of the Salt Lake City, Utah Kiwi, while approaching their sunset. So anytime you can get a new station underneath one of your local stations, man, that is a pretty damn good thing to do. Pretty awesome, man. Pretty awesome. All right, Sean, it's your time to shine, my friend. Your time has come. Been quite a week here on the Illinois prairie, he says. 18 stations logged for this week's challenge, including 8 new ones. However, the real difference was in some new wire. It's amazing what a little bit of wire will do, right? My goal for this season is to hear Oregon and Idaho, the last 2 states for me west of the Mississippi. Same. There has been a lot of chatter recently on the Slack channel about antennas and noise levels. I put up a 40 by 12 SuperLoop to New England, but I'm not getting very good results with it, so I was looking for something else. 40 by 12. I said that right. 40 by 12. Jeff Immel in Indianapolis, a.k.a. Notorious B.O.G., has been singing the praise of his beverage on-ground experiments. As much as I love my W6 LVP loop, I came to realize I need something more powerful to get the last 2 states I need up yonder. I did some measuring and realized I had room for a 240-foot bog to the north-northwest, about 310 degrees. I installed the bog in a mild rain on Wednesday afternoon. Isn't that I mean, it's kind of fun putting up an antenna in the rain. I don't know why I did that in Outer Banks, and it was kind of fun. Maybe I'm weird. And waited for the sun to go down. Once it did, I realized I had just installed a laser to the north-northwest. Here's a sample of how good it works. This is CBW 990 in Winnipeg, Alberta. Or it's Manitoba, isn't it? 50 kilowatts, 808 miles for me. First half of the recording is the W6 LVP loop. The second half is the bog. You guys ready to hear this? Let's check this out.
Canada approach. Experience and the expertise. The way we work together. Some premiers agree. is ensuring one region's issues don't take precedence.
We would hate to see, as Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, our seafood industry traded in return for...
Let's do that again, because that's pretty impressive to go from, again, the first half is the W6 LVP loop, and then you're going to know when the bog kicks in.
Team Canada approach. Experience and the expertise. The way we together. Some premiers.
And that's what I'm used to hearing. Like when I hear a station that's, a little bit weaker.
Labrador's Andrew Fury. One advantage of all working together is ensuring one region's issues don't take precedence.
We would...
that's a laser beam.
As Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, our seafood industry traded in return for...
That's a laser beam with a magnet on the end. A retractable. Gotcha. Come here. Like on Mortal Kombat. In the 48 hours I've had this antenna, I've logged 26 new stations from just 2 top-of-the-hour recordings. Thanksgiving Day at 1200 and 1300 Zulu. 26 new stations. 8 new logs in Iowa, including 250-watt KILR 1070 AM in Esterville, 407 miles. 5 new logs in Minnesota. 5 new logs in Wisconsin. 2 new logs in North Dakota, including KNDK 1080 Langdon, 747 miles, and KXRB 1140, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Sorry, Stephanie. 10 kilowatts, 491 miles. I've been struggling to hear any South Dakota stations, having only logged 3 so far. KXRB is now so loud I have to use the co-channel canceller on them to hear other stuff on 1140. I'm sorry, Stephanie. He says that was his. I did the last one. That was him. Getting the long haul stuff is always a treat, no doubt, but it's been equally impressive to log some of the 250 to 500 watt stations within 300 miles that have eluded me so far. As a result of this week's bounty, I finally broke the 850 log barrier. I now have 871 stations logged on AM with plenty more to go. Yeah, dang right you do. There's no doubt I'll be installing other bogs in the near future if you have the room. They are simple to build and unbelievably effective. Yep. Thanks to Northern Notorious BOG for hipping me to these antennas. I may never leave the shack this winter. And that's the thing, right? Like you get something like that and it re-energizes your entire love of the hobby. And just that one little bit of antenna work, you put in the work, and then you get to see the fruits of that labor bear out in the logbook. And every one of those, you're like, I did that. I made that antenna. That's so awesome. And it's such a great feeling, man. So we're going to give you a couple of shout outs here. We're going to do the logs, of course. We got to get to the Wisconsin. We got to cut some cheese here. And I mean, while we're at it, we got to do this because you got that new gear. The bog gets new gear, man. And clearly it's doing something good. This man over here fishing with dynamite now. Fishing with dynamite. Well done, Sean, my friend. I'm very, very happy for you. Very proud of you, man, for the work you put in on this antenna, and the fruits of the labor are now being received. So well done. Yeah, I think, obviously that's proof of concept right there. If you have the room to put up a 240, 250 foot plus bog, do it. Do it. Don't wait. Do it. Right? It's gonna be producing great results for you. I'm looking forward to right now. Sean is in that mode where he's like, "Oh, look at all this cool stuff I get to hear, like South Dakota and Minnesota and everything." Right? I cannot wait for him to have that moment of realization that he just caught Japan on 774 or something down under. Right? When he gets another bog down under, southwest or south or something, and he starts getting these like really super rare stations for for the rest of us. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I heard Japan again this morning." It was like I had to use the code channel cancer to get rid of Japan to hear whatever else was on 774. I don't know, but that's going to be amazing when he starts getting that kind of stuff on those bogs. I can't wait to see that stuff. Take care, Mexico Mike J, my friend. Take care, and well done with your DX stuff as well. And thank you for all your help with our Espanol as well. You are our official translator of the Slack. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do mine. I usually save mine for the end of the show, but I know some of you guys might need to duck out, and nobody wants to miss a moose loose moment. So we're going to go ahead and do mine. We've already got our queue cleared out. If you still want to submit shout outs, by all means, we'll get another round in here as well. But let's go ahead and read mine. I already told you about Santo Domingo, HIJB, Dominican Republic on 8:30. Thank you to the Southeast Bog. Got that one in. I've been chasing these guys I've been chasing Dominican Republic for 3 years, but I've been chasing these guys for a very long time. 1270 WXYT in Detroit. Finally got them on the North SuperLoop this week. So very happy about that. Also on 1270 WTLY in Tallahassee, Florida, made it into the logbook this week for a brand new one during a Florida State football game last Saturday. 1280 WHVR in Hanover, Pennsylvania, made it into the logbook. I mentioned them earlier with their Christmas music. Very nice to hear Pennsylvania here on the 15-degree SuperLoop. WIHB in Macon, Georgia, made it into the log this week with their country music on 1280. Anytime I get something on 1280, I'm super happy about that because that's a local. Also from Georgia, 1440 WGIG in Brunswick was coming in this week. I forget who it was. Someone heard something on 1440, so I went to go swing to see if I could hear what they were hearing, and WGIG showed up. And then finally, CFMB, Montreal, Quebec. I've been looking for Quebec now for 3 years since I moved here to Mandeville. Tried them on 730 and a couple other frequencies, never could make it work, but finally CFMB 1280, which is doubly awesome. Not only is it a new province, but that's where I have a local station. So proof of concept for SuperLoops, 22 by 72 foot SuperLoop with a vactrol on the backside, completely got rid of my local in New Orleans and allowed me to hear Montreal, 7 CFMB on 1280. So again, one of those moments where it's like, hey, I built this antenna and it's doing what I need it to do. It's giving me the stuff that I want. So without further ado, all rise. And I did the new country, but I just like this one. I'm going to go ahead and play it while I'm at it. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new stations logged this week, which puts me 3 away. 3 away from 1K. I'm sitting here. I got my finger just sitting over the 1K button. I'm like, come on, man, just press it. So hopefully, with a little bit of luck and some good DX this week, maybe next week, I can push the 1K button. That'd be nice. Has anyone ever tried to string up wire using moose antlers? I bet they have. I mean, use what you got, right? Use what you got around. Mom and I were talking yesterday on our Thanksgiving family time about using a drone to bring up an antenna up into the trees or whatever. I absolutely want to try that out. I think that'd be great. I mean, I have my little air cannon that I use to shoot my antennas up with the fishing weight and stuff and the fishing line, and it works great. And I'm probably gonna be using it soon to do this new SuperLoop if the bog thing doesn't work out. If I can't get it kind of fine tuned, but a drone to just drape it over the exact limb that I want. Thought about that. I kind of would like to do that. I know, so close. 3 more logs. I was hoping I'd have it ready for tonight, but didn't get the extra 3 logs. Hopefully next week we'll be ready to do that one. All right, we are 15 minutes away from top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and finish out the rest of our time here tonight doing some more DX. I did want to talk about, got that, okay. I showed you guys my new common mode chokes. For those of you who might have missed it earlier, these are the tastiest donuts I've ever seen in my life. This is the TDK N30 with 45 windings. I labeled it so I could make sure I remembered which one it was which. 45 windings of RG316. And then this is the second one here that I made. This is 31 turns on a FT24031 toroid. And so 31 turns on this one of RG16, 45 on this one. And I'm just waiting on, I have some, I'm ordered from Max Gain Systems, some crimp-on SO239 connectors. I'm going to crimp on here on the ends. And I'm going to put them in a box and just poke those connectors through the holes and use those to connect everything up. I'm going to do these two in series, actually. These are going to be in series, one next to the other, and see how well that does at getting rid of all of my noise. If it lowers my noise floor, that'd be pretty awesome. So we talked about the common mode chokes last week on the show. Very excited to see what these two will do. And if those two work, I've got a couple more of those FT240s that I have here in stock. I'll go ahead and order a couple more of the TDK N30s. And I also want to try out those FT240s also are what ham radio operators use for common mode chokes for ham radio for transmit. You have to use a little more beefy coax, especially if you're running power. I'm only running 100 watts, so just a regular RG58 will be fine for me to put on there. But I think it's either 3 or 4 windings. You do one that goes across the middle, and then you do either 3 or 4 more windings on the other side, matching up. And that's your common mode choke for ham radio. So I'm considering doing that for my 2 antennas. I have the W5GI mystery antenna, and right now I have my 6-meter beam up in the air. I want to do one for that one as well, if I can double check, make sure the windings for the 6 meters, and make sure that that particular ferrite core will work on 6 meters. And then I also have the DX Commander vertical, quarter wave vertical, that I want to put up the common mode choke on as well. So there you go. There are a few things more beautiful than a TDK core with 45 turns of RG316. I mean, yours was beautiful. You guys didn't see the picture in the Slack of what Jeff did on his. It's gorgeous. I mean, he got his spacing down, but I mean, it's perfect. But I mean, that's still a tasty looking donut right there. That's very nice. Very, very nice. He's also been working on eliminating RF noise in his shack with some snap-on ferrites and different things like that, some different shielding and stuff like that. So that'll probably be another project I'll be working on eventually here once I do some antenna work. Speaking of antenna work, before we go to our DX, this weekend, my antenna project for this weekend, I'll continue to work on the bog, see if I can get that metal chicken wire, whatever the hell that is, on the northwest end of my bog, see if I can get that out of here, so I can try to see if that helps the performance a little bit. I'm sure it's impacting my ability to null out on the backside. I'm sure it is, but whatever. We'll see if we can get rid of that. But the big project this week, I'm very excited. I've been wanting to do this for a while now, and it's finally cool enough where I can do this. I would never do this in the summertime. I've been wanting to put up a attic antenna, specifically a KAZ up in the attic. I got the idea because we have our elevated KAZ on the shortwave central Kiwi, 10 feet off the ground, right? And it works wonderfully, super, super good. But I want to try one. I want to have an antenna that, no matter if it's storming outside or not, I can still do what I need to do and have an antenna in the air for HF and AM for its Eve. So I'm going to put a KAZ up in the attic. Eventually I can ultimately do the entire length of the house. So that's like 50 feet, 60 feet, somewhere in there. I think I can probably get pretty close to most of that. And then as far as the height goes, I can probably do 15 feet. So I can probably do like a 15 by 60 KAZ up in the attic. And I've got my extra Wellbrook amps now that I'm no longer using those on the ones that I put my homemade transformers on, to overcome any, if it's not big enough to really make a difference, have enough gain. And I've also got an extra vactrol that I'll put up there as well. And so I'll just cut a couple of holes in my ceiling in here in the shack, run those coax feed lines down, and have an attic KAZ antenna. And that's going to be northeast, southwest. Ooh, that is the missing direction right now. 35 degrees is the missing direction. That is all that stuff on the East Coast that I used to love to hear. And when I used to have a KAZ in that orientation, a 22 by 70 foot KAZ in that orientation. And it did great. I miss that Northeast orientation. So we're going to put some work into that this weekend, putting up an attic KAZ up in the air and just see how it does. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Maybe it'll work great. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I'm hoping that having all the noise below it will do fine, but we'll see. But maybe it'll do good. Maybe it won't do anything at all. But at the least, I'm going to try it and see if it works. All right. This DX brought to you by the Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com. And that's where you want to go to get yourself a subscription or to pick up issues. We just did our big one here, this November issue, on shack design and doing what we did here in North Shore Studios. So make sure you pick up your copy of the Spectrum Monitor. And like I said, it's only $24 for a year, so you might as well go ahead and do that, right? Let's go down here to 1150 and see if we can get something besides the JBO.
When you hear continuous Christmas music, you're listening to 96.1 The River, Baton Rouge's Christmas music station.
Russell Wilson here. The Play 60, United Way from the NFL to help them kids play at least 60 minutes a day. To get involved, go to unitedway.org/play60. We just don't do it every time. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council. Putting with smart in your smartphone. Get your music on today. Play WJBO News Radio, United Radio.
That's all better. Also a very good book. Hey, Game Master Player. Also a very, very, very good book. This is the first edition. Yeah. Highly recommend this one as well. Take care, Stephanie. Thank you for being here, my friend. Let's see if I can null these guys down with the channel null. I recently heard my a new station on this frequency, KSAL, in Kansas. Had not heard them before. That was a recent addition to this this frequency for the logbook. But you know what I'm looking for. I mean, it's not going to happen anytime soon. But I used to listen to these guys when I was in Charleston every night. Fun story about these guys. When I was in Brasstown, they were the bane of my existence. I'm talking about WDEL here on screen. WDEL in Wilmington, Delaware. They were the bane of my existence. I listened night after night after night after night after night after night trying to hear Delaware. Never could actually get them in there. It took me years and years and years of trying. Finally, I think it was 97, 99, somewhere in there. I've been trying since 93. Finally, I decided, screw this. Talk about, putting up an antenna and then seeing the fruits of your labor. I had a big spool of wire that I got from, I was working at a grocery store at the time, and they were doing some remodeling and renovation, and I was like, hey, can I have this spool of wire? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. So I took a big spool of wire. No clue what gauge it was, 12, 14, 16, I don't know. It was not that thick, actually. It was probably like 16 gauge. And I took it from the house, and I just pointed it northeast, and I just kept going and going and going. I took it out into the woods. I took it over to Bob and Judy Grove's road, to their house. This thing was probably 350 feet, 400 feet, somewhere in there. Threw it up into a tree. Had a rock tied to it, so it kind of just anchored it. The rock was kind of just sitting there, just kind of floating like this. Had that sucker up in the tree, though. And like I said, it was about 350, 400 feet or so. And went back to the house. Just a long wire. I didn't know anything about termination. I didn't know anything about transformers. It was just a long wire. And I had that long wire coming in through the window into the back of the Drake R8 around the 300 ohm input. Fired it up. First night, there was Delaware. First night, got him. There is very little as satisfying in this hobby as putting in the work to build an antenna to hear a specific station, and then you get them.
DX Central Live top of the hour alert.
There we go. Top of the hour time frame. So we'll be doing, Mark, we'll be doing a big old common mode choke on that sucker. On that Elevated KAZ, just to make sure we're doing everything we can to suppress that noise. Hopefully that'll help. I don't know, we'll see.
Years ago, when I first started competing in my feel better. There were a few hours only to have the pain return and repeat the cycle all over again. Not in like a decade later, but I think standard is a better way. Full relief factor. You don't have to master it. Relief factor makes it easy to get rid of the pain and natural. Now, they have a free website. It's $19.95 for less than $1 a day. Instead of menacing the pain, this live relief factor. Well, it's a unique formula of ingredients that support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors, and it's 100% drug-free. And right now, their 3-week quick start is $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com. Call 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. You'll feel better. Life is just better. So don't panic. Find it naturally with Relief Factor.
Black Friday is coming, and there's something for the adults. Would you like to see stories too? But Kitz is the premier cocktail maker that makes over 60 cocktails. At the push of a button, make fast quality cosmopolitans, martinis, Manhattans, and more. All in just 30 seconds. Now is the best time to get a martini cocktail. Pick your own right. Yes, you heard me correctly. Pick up your phone and check it for $100 off. WABO, WFMS, Radio
iHeart is America's
one talking Bible to the people of the United States and their own language.
Primary brand with relevant radio news brought to you by the Knights of Columbus. Consider joining at KFC.org/relevant. That's KOFC.org/relevant. Donald Trump is planning an executive order that would lead
This KRDY in San Antonio.
members of the U.S. military. Defense sources told the Times there is an estimated 16,000
I'm sure KSL's in there somewhere.
they would be medically discharged, which would determine if they were unfit to serve. The president-elect has grounded against all practices in the military, saying that some high-ranking officers are often more interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion than actually planning.
Yes, that relevant radio is definitely KRDY San Antonio.
Tom Costello has more.
So far, the system is moving really pretty well as everybody's trying to get out ahead of that storm system coming in.
Looks like 1170 might be here. That's probably XERT Reynosa on this west SuperLoop.
Friday, it is 30 degrees and sky is at 88.
That's probably who that is. $11.80. All right, let's check our top of the hour recording here.
Despite a ceasefire deal, violence continues in the Middle East as Israel targets Hezbollah militants to the north. The Israeli military said
That country station, that's got to be Tryon, Georgia. I mean, we already heard them earlier, so. As I said. All right, let's check 1170 here.
Hunger can be hard to recognize.
Probably going to be KOTV again.
I am HungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
This is News on 6 Now. Hear the difference locally owned makes. Oklahoma's own 1170 AM News on 6 Now. This is KOTV Tulsa, KBOO HD2 Tulsa, KHTT HD2 Muskogee, KXBL HD2.
That's been the Doggy.
It's 9 o'clock. President-elect
Dog's over here punching the microphone. 1160. Let's see what we had here at the top of the hour on the North SuperLoop.
support and distribute a Talking Bible. Talking Bible changes lives. See the impact your gifts are making at TalkingBible.org. Subscribe to receive ministry updates live in a year. Call and give now at 855-55 855-55. We'll read all the way from Genesis to Revelation, discovering how the story of salvation. Are you in danger of falling on the slippery slope of comfort? This is
Now let's do 1150. Okay, so I didn't really hear anything new in there. So we had something on 1160. It's probably, if I had to guess, it was probably WCFO in there again, the Quest. But we'll keep playing with that one this week and see if we can get KSL in the log again, a relog for us. But we'll see if we can get him in there for the challenge. 1150, I'd like to find something besides WJBO. We'll see. 1170, something besides Tulsa would be nice. Maybe we can get West Virginia. I don't know, but I'd like to get something out like West. Would be really cool. Same thing with 1180. I'd like to get something out West. I just realized I don't have the only Texas station on that frequency yet, so I'll be definitely doing some gray line work on that one here, KLPF in Midland, Texas. That'll be a nice one to try to shoot for here. So maybe we can get them here. Maybe shoot out here into California if we're lucky. Maybe up into Minnesota if we're really lucky on around gray line. It'd be nice. All right, that's about it for tonight, my friends. Got to go do something about this throat. All scratchy and nasty. For our sponsors, the Spectrum Monitor magazine, thespectrummonitor.com, the National Radio Club, nationalradioclub.org, and the IRCA, International Radio Club of America, the IRCAonline.org. IRCAonline.org is your website for them. For our sponsors and for all of us here at DX Central, my friends, on this Thanksgiving week, I am thankful for you and your support and your constant encouragement and mentorship and everything else you guys have been doing to help me get more out of the hobby, and for all of us to get more out of the hobby as well. So appreciate you all. We'll see you again next week. Hopefully we'll be able to hit that 1,000 button. It'd be nice. But we'll see you next week, my friends, right here on DX Central Live. Take care.
This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.